I push through the doors to the venue corridor and freeze. My bouquet nearly slips from my suddenly nerveless fingers. June stands 20 feet away, framed by the archway leading to the ceremony space, draped in a floor-length white gown that catches every beam of natural light flooding through the tall windows. My wedding gown silhouette. Not the dusty rose bridesmaid dress we'd chosen together 4 months ago. Not champagne. Not blush. Pure, unapologetic bridal white with delicate lace sleeves and a sweetheart neckline that mirrors my own dress design with disturbing precision. The pearl hairpiece nestled in her upswept hair catches the light as she adjusts it in the hallway mirror. The vintage piece I'd found at an estate sale, the one that matched my grandmother's earrings perfectly, the one I'd spent weeks tracking down to complete my bridal look. June turns this way and that, her reflection beaming with unmistakable satisfaction. She's completely absorbed in her image, running her hands over the silk fabric like a bride savoring her own special moment. June. My voice comes out strangled, barely louder than the string quartet warming up in the distance. What are you wearing? Instead of shock or embarrassment, her face lights up with that familiar mixture of defiance and victimhood. She pivots toward me, the white gown swirling around her ankles. Jennie, there you are. She gestures down at herself with a graceful sweep of her hand. I know it's unconventional, but it feels right. Mom thinks I look beautiful. The words land like a slap. Mom thinks. Behind me, heels click against the marble floor. I turn to find my mother emerging from behind a towering floral arrangement, her burgundy mother of the bride dress a stark contrast to the chaos she's clearly orchestrated. Her expression holds that calculated blend of sympathy and steel I've seen my entire life. Jennie, sweetheart. She reaches for my arm, her touch practiced and gentle, the physical embodiment of reasonable authority. Let her have this. She's been through so much lately, the breakup, losing her job. This day can be about both of you. Their words unlock a cascade of memories. June borrowing my car for a quick errand, returning it with an empty gas tank and a dent in the passenger door. My leather portfolio for the big client presentation, coming back with coffee stains on the interior pockets. The designer blazer I'd saved 4 months to afford, stretched at the shoulders and reeking of cigarette smoke after her weekend getaway. Family means sacrifice, I'd told myself each time, swallowing my objections, burying my frustration. Last spring crashes back to me. The promotion presentation I'd worked on for 6 weeks, the one that could have secured my position as senior project manager. June calling at midnight, sobbing about her latest crisis, needing me to drive 3 hours to bring her home. Missing my presentation. Watching my colleague get the position instead. She needed you, my mother had said when I'd tried to explain my devastation. That's what sisters do. June steps closer now, her white gown rustling with each movement. You don't mind, do you, Jen? Her voice carries that wounded innocence she's perfected over the years. I mean, you're already getting married. You're already the successful one. Can't I just feel special for one day too? I stand taller, my spine straightening, my grip tightening on the bouquet stems. Something ancient and buried rises in my chest, years of being flexible, of absorbing family chaos to maintain peace, of watching my moments reframed as opportunities for June's redemption. Not this time. Before we dive into what happens next, if you want to see how Jennie finally breaks free from years of manipulation, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss where this goes. I turn away from June's expectant face and push past my mother, my veil trailing behind me like a white flag I refuse to wave. My hands shake as I grip the door handle to the bridal suite, the cool metal grounding me as the world tilts sideways. Inside, Ralph stands by the window in his charcoal suit, adjusting his cufflinks. My maid of honor, Sarah, sits on the velvet settee touching up her lipstick. They both look up as I stumble through the doorway. Jen. Ralph crosses the room in 3 strides, his hands catching my shoulders. What happened? You're white as a sheet. The words tumble out in a rush. June. She's wearing white. A full wedding gown. with the pearl hairpiece I bought. My mother says to let her have this because she's been through so much. Sarah's lipstick clatters onto the marble vanity. She's wearing what? It's not just white. My voice cracks as the full picture crystallizes in my mind. It's custom. The neckline, the lace sleeves, they're almost identical to mine. You don't just find that at a department store the morning of someone's wedding. Ralph's jaw tightens, a muscle jumping near his temple. How long? What? How long has she been planning this? His voice is quiet, controlled, but I hear the fury beneath it. I sink onto the settee beside Sarah, my dress pooling around me in layers of tulle and silk. The timeline clicks into place like tumbling dominoes. The fitting. 3 weeks ago when she said she needed to borrow my car for an appointment. She was gone for 4 hours. My hands twist in my lap. The seamstress I used is downtown. She would have needed multiple fittings for a custom gown. Sarah pulls out her phone, her fingers flying across the screen. I'm looking at June's Instagram. Jennie, she posted a photo 2 weeks ago, big things coming, with a white heart emoji and a bride emoji. She turns the screen toward me. In the photo, June stands in front of a bridal boutique, her smile secretive and triumphant. The evidence mounts like bricks building a wall I can no longer ignore. The questions about my dress designer that I'd thought were sisterly interest. Her sudden enthusiasm about my wedding when she'd been dismissive for months. The private conversation I'd overheard between her and my mother last month, cutting off abruptly when I entered the room. She's been planning to hijack your wedding for at least a month, Sarah says, her voice tight with rage. This wasn't impulse. This was calculated. Ralph kneels in front of me, his hands covering mine. What do you want to do? Whatever it is, I'm with you. I look at him, this man who chose me, who sees me, who's never once asked me to shrink myself to accommodate someone else's needs. Then I look at Sarah, who's been my anchor since college, who's watched June take and take while I smiled and pretended it didn't hurt. Something fundamental shifts in my chest, like a lock finally turning after years of rust. I stand, smoothing down my dress, and meet Ralph's eyes with a clarity I haven't felt in years. This ends today. My voice doesn't waver. No more accommodating. No more making myself smaller so June can feel bigger. She either changes into something appropriate or she leaves. And if my mother doesn't like it, she can leave too. Ralph's smile is fierce and proud. There's my bride. Sarah finds our wedding planner, Monica, near the ceremony entrance directing the ushers. The moment I ask about any unusual requests, Monica's professional smile falters. She glances toward where my mother stands with a cluster of relatives, then pulls us into an alcove behind a column of white roses. Your mother called 3 weeks ago, Monica says quietly, her tablet clutched against her chest like a shield. She said you wanted to incorporate your sister more prominently into the ceremony. That you were too modest to ask yourself, but that it would mean the world to you. My stomach drops. What exactly did she ask for? Monica scrolls through her notes, her discomfort palpable. She wanted to know if we could arrange for 2 brides to walk down the aisle. She asked about coordinating a dual procession and whether the floral arrangements could be adjusted to create symmetry for both of you at the altar. Ralph's hand finds the small of my back, steadying me. What did you tell her? I said it was unusual, but that I'd need written confirmation from Jennie directly before making any changes to the ceremony structure. Monica meets my eyes. She said you'd reach out. When you didn't, I assumed she'd been overstepping. Sarah's already dialing. She holds up a finger as someone answers. Hi, this is Sarah Chin, maid of honor for the Thomas Stevenson wedding. I need to verify something with your team. A pause. The photographer. Yes. Her face darkens as she listens. I see. And when was that conversation? 3 weeks. Got it. Thank you. She ends the call and turns to me, her expression grim. The photographer received an email from your mother's account requesting special family unity shots with both you and June in your white dresses. She specifically asked for portraits that would frame you as co-brides celebrating together. The words land like physical blows, each one a confirmation of betrayal I'd hoped wasn't this deep. Ralph's jaw clenches as he pulls out his own phone. I'm calling the florist. I watch him pace away, his voice low and controlled as he speaks. When he returns 2 minutes later, his eyes are blazing. Your mother ordered a second bridal bouquet identical to yours. The florist thought it was sweet that you wanted your sister to have a matching one for photos. My phone buzzes in Sarah's clutch. Once. Twice. Then it doesn't stop. Sarah retrieves it, her face paling as she scrolls. Jennie. June posted on Instagram. She hands me the phone. June's beaming face fills the screen, taken in the venue hallway with soft focus and perfect lighting. She's holding a bouquet, my bouquet design, in her white-gloved hands. The caption reads, "When your sister loves you so much she lets you share her special day 2 hearts, #sistersforever, #shared joy, #wedding day." The comments are already flooding in. Heart emojis. Crying faces. This is so beautiful. What an amazing sister you have. True family goals. The text messages start before I can process the post. Aunt Linda, you never told us about the co-celebration. What a generous heart you have. Uncle Tom, so proud of you for including June like this. My cousin Michelle, this is the sweetest thing I've ever seen. June deserves this after everything she's been through. Sarah grabs the phone from my trembling hands. They think you planned this. They think this is your idea. Ralph's arms wrap around me from behind, his presence solid and anchoring. She's rewriting the narrative in real time, making you the generous sister so you can't object without looking like the villain. Monica shifts uncomfortably. Is there anything you need me to do? I stare at June's post, at the carefully crafted image of sisterly devotion, at the comments praising a generosity I never offered. My mother orchestrated every detail, and June is capitalizing on it with the precision of someone who's been waiting for exactly this moment. Yes, I hear myself say, my voice steadier than I feel. There is. My phone rings before I can give Monica instructions. Aunt Linda's name flashes across the screen. Sarah reaches for it, but I shake my head and answer. Jennie, what is going on? Aunt Linda's voice is sharp, accusatory. I just spoke to June in the bathroom. She's crying. She says you're threatening to throw her out of your wedding because she's wearing white. Is that really how you want to start your marriage? With cruelty. The word hits me like a punch. Aunt Linda, she showed up in a custom wedding gown without telling me. This wasn't. She told me you approved it weeks ago. That you said she could wear white to feel special since her engagement fell through. Her tone softens into something worse than anger, disappointment. I thought you were bigger than this, Jennie. She's your sister. The call ends before I can defend myself. Immediately, another call comes through. Uncle Paul. Then my cousin Diane. Each conversation follows the same script, confusion morphing into judgment, June's tears weaponized into proof of my selfishness. By the 5th call, my hands are shaking so badly Ralph takes the phone and powers it down. That's enough. His voice is quiet steel. The bridal suite door swings open. My mother strides in, her burgundy dress swishing with righteous purpose, my father trailing behind her with the exhausted expression of a man who stopped fighting years ago. Her eyes find mine with laser precision. June is hysterical. She closes the distance between us, her voice low and controlled. Half the guests are asking questions. Your grandmother is confused. The photographer wants to know if we're starting late. She stops inches from me, her perfume cloying and familiar. If you make a scene and embarrass June, you'll regret it. Family is supposed to support each other. Or have you forgotten what that means? Ralph steps between us before I can respond. Mrs. Thomas, June needs to change into something appropriate or leave the venue. Those are the only options. My mother's laugh is sharp and brittle. Excuse me? This is my daughter's wedding. You don't tell me. This is Jennie's wedding, Ralph interrupts, his voice cutting through her objection like a blade. Not June's. Not yours. Jennie's day. June can change or she can go home. But she's not walking down that aisle in white. My father finally speaks, his voice weary. Son, you don't understand how our family works. Jennie's always been the flexible one. June needs this right now. No. Ralph doesn't raise his voice, doesn't move. What June needs is to respect boundaries. What this family needs is to stop asking Jennie to set herself on fire to keep everyone else warm. My mother's face flushes deep red. How dare you speak to us? Sarah's phone chimes. She glances at it, then her eyes widen. Jennie, you need to see this. She turns her screen toward me. My cousin Rachel has sent screenshots from a private Facebook group. June's posts, time-stamped over the past month. Found the perfect dress today. White, just like hers, another from 3 weeks ago. Mom says the photographer is on board. This is really happening. The most recent, from 2 days ago. Finally getting my moment. She's had everything her whole life. Saturday, I become the bride too. The evidence is irrefutable, time-stamped and documented. I hand the phone to my mother without a word. I watch her face as she scrolls, watch the moment she realizes the conspiracy has been exposed. She doesn't look surprised. She looks caught. This ends now, I say quietly. June changes or June leaves. And Mom? If you try to override me one more time today, you'll leave with her. My mother leaves without another word, my father following like a shadow. The silence they leave behind feels fragile, like glass about to shatter. Sarah checks her phone and her face drains of color. She posted again. Sarah's voice is barely a whisper. A video this time. The footage shows June sitting on a bench outside the venue, mascara streaking her cheeks, her white dress stark against the garden's greenery. Her voice trembles with practiced vulnerability. I just wanted to feel beautiful for one day. After everything I've been through, the breakup, losing my job, I thought my sister would understand. But she's threatening to kick me out of her wedding. She wipes her eyes, the pearl hairpiece catching sunlight. All I've done is love her. All I wanted was to share in her happiness. I guess that was too much to ask. The video already has hundreds of views, dozens of comments pouring in. Your sister is a bridezilla. You deserve better. She should be ashamed. My phone, still in Ralph's hand, rings. He glances at the screen and his expression hardens. It's your boss. I take it with numb fingers. Hello. Jennie. David Martinez's voice is clipped, professional. I'm seeing some concerning posts circulating about today's event. Several members of our board follow your family on social media. Do we need to discuss how personal matters might affect your professionalism at the firm? The implication lands like ice water. My promotion review is in 3 weeks. The partnership track I've worked toward for 5 years suddenly feels like it's crumbling beneath my feet. David, this is my wedding day. Can we discuss this Monday? See that we do. The line goes dead. I stand there holding the phone, feeling the walls close in. The conspiracy, the public narrative, now my career, everything June touches, she poisons. Everything I've built, she threatens. I need a minute. I don't wait for Ralph's response before I slip through a side door into a private sitting room. The space is blessedly empty, decorated with antique furniture and soft lighting. I sink into a chair and press my palms against my eyes, trying to hold back the tears that would ruin my makeup. The door opens softly. I look up expecting Sarah, but it's my grandmother who enters. Grandma Ruth moves with the deliberate grace of her 82 years, closing the door behind her before settling into the chair beside mine. She takes my hand in both of hers, her skin paper-thin, but her grip surprisingly strong. Your mother did this exact same thing, she says without preamble. 30 years ago at your Aunt Caroline's wedding. I stare at her. What? Caroline was my daughter from my first marriage. Your mother was 16, jealous that Caroline was getting married to a successful man while your mother was still in high school. Grandma Ruth's eyes are distant, remembering. She showed up to the wedding in a white dress. Said it was the only nice dress she had. Your grandfather, my second husband, made Caroline let her stay. Said family comes first. That we couldn't embarrass your mother in front of everyone. The parallel is so exact it steals my breath. What happened? Caroline's wedding photos show two brides. Every shot, there's your mother in white, positioning herself next to Caroline, smiling for the camera like it was her day too. Grandma Ruth's voice hardens. The marriage lasted 6 years. Caroline's husband said he could never escape feeling like he'd married into a family that didn't understand boundaries. That every holiday, every milestone, became about managing your mother's feelings instead of building their own life. My hands tremble in hers. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because your mother rewrote the story. Said Caroline was difficult, that the divorce was Caroline's fault for not being family-oriented enough. Grandma Ruth squeezes my fingers. Your mother was taught that other people's happiness was a resource to redistribute. She taught June the same thing. But Jennie, you don't have to continue it. The weight of generations settles on my shoulders. What if I can't stop it? You already have. Grandma Ruth's smile is fierce. You said no. That's more than Caroline ever did. More than I did when I should have protected her. She stands, pulling me up with her. Now come. Let's finish what you started. This is the moment everything changes. If you're rooting for Jennie right now, show some love by hitting subscribe and dropping a comment telling me what you would have done in her situation. Alright, let's watch Jennie reclaim her power. Grandma Ruth doesn't release my hand as we walk back toward the bridal suite. Instead, she stops in the corridor, her expression shifting from sympathetic to strategic. There's something else you need to know. She reaches into her small clutch and pulls out a folded document. Your parents have been using their financial contribution to this wedding as leverage, haven't they? Threatening to withdraw support if you don't accommodate June. The accuracy of her observation makes my throat tight. They paid for half. They keep reminding me. They paid with money from the family trust. Grandma Ruth unfolds the document, revealing legal letterhead. The trust your grandfather established, which I control as executor. I'm also co-owner of the house they claim as solely theirs. It was part of my divorce settlement from your grandfather, but they've conveniently forgotten that detail. She hands me the paper. You're named as my successor in both roles. When I'm gone, you'll have full authority over what they consider their security. I stare at the document, at my name in black ink, at the date from 3 years ago. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I hoped they'd change. That your mother would break the pattern instead of passing it down. Her voice hardens. I was wrong. But this means they have no real power here, Jennie. Only the illusion of it. Ralph appears in the doorway of the bridal suite, Sarah beside him. He takes one look at my face and crosses to us immediately. What happened? I hand him the document. Watch his eyes scan the legal language, see the moment comprehension clicks into place. He looks at Grandma Ruth with something like awe. You've been holding this in reserve. I've been waiting for the right moment. She meets his gaze steadily. This is it. Ralph pulls out his phone, fingers moving rapidly across the calculator app. Our savings. The bonus I received last month. The wedding fund we set aside before your parents insisted on contributing. He looks up at me, his expression clear and certain. We can handle this without their money, their approval, or their attendance. Every vendor has been paid. We cover what's left and we're free. The weight that's been crushing my chest for hours suddenly lifts. We can do this? We can do this. He cups my face in his hands. What do you want to happen next? I think of June's video, my mother's manipulation, the decades of pattern Grandma Ruth just revealed. I think of Aunt Caroline's wedding photos with 2 brides, of a marriage destroyed by boundary violations, of a legacy I refuse to inherit. Get Monica, the photographer, and the DJ. My voice is steady now, clear. I'm giving new instructions. 20 minutes later, I stand before the 3 vendors in a small conference room off the main hall. Monica has her tablet ready. The photographer, Marcus, looks alert and professional. DJ Kevin waits with his arms crossed, listening. New plan, I say without preamble. 1 bride. 1 groom. Anyone in white who isn't me gets escorted out by security before the ceremony begins. No family unity shots. No dual procession. No accommodation for my sister's dress choice. Marcus nods slowly. Your mother said you'd approved. My mother lied. The words feel powerful, liberating. I'm the bride. These are my instructions. If anyone contradicts them, you come directly to me or my fiancé. No one else has authority here. Monica types rapidly. Security. Do you have? We're arranging it now. Ralph's voice comes from the doorway. Behind him stand his two brothers, Jake and Matt, along with 3 groomsmen, all broad-shouldered, all wearing expressions of grim determination. Jake cracks his knuckles. Someone needs to explain the dress code? Ralph briefs them efficiently. June's white dress. My mother's conspiracy. The need to prevent disruption without causing a scene. I watch these men, Ralph's family, his chosen brothers, align themselves without hesitation on my side of this battle. Matt pulls out his phone. June's still posting. Latest update says she's praying her sister remembers what family means. He looks at me. Where is she now? Last I saw, she was in the garden. Sarah appears with my bouquet, freshly arranged. Your mother's with her. Ralph turns to his brothers. Positions. Jake, you're at the ceremony entrance. Matt, the garden exit. Mark, coordinate with the ushers. No one in white except Jennie gets past the doors. They disperse like a tactical unit. Ralph returns to me, his hand finding mine. Ready? I squeeze his fingers, feeling Grandma Ruth's solid presence beside me, Sarah's fierce loyalty at my back. Ready. Monica directs us to a private consultation room near the venue offices. Through the window, I can see June and my mother on a garden bench, their heads bent together in urgent conversation. My mother's hands gesture emphatically while June dabs at her eyes with a tissue, her white dress gleaming in the afternoon sun like a taunt. Ralph squeezes my hand once before opening the door. I'll get them. I watch him cross the garden, watch my mother's face shift from conspiratorial to defensive as he approaches. He speaks briefly, gestures toward the building. My mother's mouth forms a tight line, but she stands. June follows, her movements slow and deliberate, playing the wounded victim even in her walk. They enter the consultation room with the energy of people preparing for battle. My mother's eyes sweep past me to land on Grandma Ruth, and something flickers across her face, surprise, then calculation, then poorly masked fear. Mother Ruth, this doesn't concern you, my mother says, her voice strained with false pleasantry. My granddaughter's wedding concerns me deeply. Grandma Ruth's tone could cut glass. Sit down, both of you. Neither of them sits. June positions herself near the window where the light catches her dress most dramatically, while my mother stands with her arms crossed, radiating indignation. I don't wait for them to settle. June, you have 2 options. Change into something appropriate, stay through the ceremony quietly, and leave before the reception. Or leave now. Those are the only choices. June's eyes widen, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks on cue. Jennie, please. I just wanted to feel special. You have everything, Ralph, your career, this beautiful wedding. Can't I have this one moment? You can have many moments, Ralph says, his voice even. Just not this one. This is Jennie's day, not yours. My mother steps forward, her composure cracking. You're being cruel and selfish. What will people think? That you threw your own sister out of your wedding over a dress? That you care more about appearances than family? The old words, the familiar guilt, the weight of expectation, they rise up like ghosts trying to reclaim their hold on me. But Grandma Ruth's hand rests on my shoulder, warm and solid, anchoring me to this new version of myself that refuses to shrink. They'll think I refuse to let my wedding be stolen, I say, my voice steady and clear. And they'll be right. My mother's face flushes deep red. This is ridiculous. June, sweetheart, don't change. This is emotional abuse. We'll talk to the pastor, explain that Jennie's being unreasonable. The pastor has his instructions, Ralph interrupts. From Jennie, the bride, the only person whose opinion matters today. June looks between my mother and me, her expression shifting from wounded to calculating. I can see her measuring options, testing which angle might still work. Finally, she lifts her chin with defiant pride. I'm not changing. This dress is beautiful, and I look beautiful in it, and if you can't handle that, then maybe you're not the sister I thought you were. Then you need to leave. I don't flinch, don't soften. Now. My mother gasps as if I've struck her. If June goes, I go. You can't possibly expect me to stay at a wedding where you've humiliated your own sister. That's your choice to make. Ralph opens the door and signals. Jake appears immediately, Matt close behind. They're not aggressive, but their presence is unmistakably authoritative. These gentlemen will escort you to your car, Ralph says calmly. June's mouth falls open. You're having us removed? By security. You're removing yourselves, I correct. You chose this, June. You planned it for weeks, coordinated with Mom, manipulated vendors, and posted lies on social media. Now you're choosing not to respect the one boundary I've set. This is your doing, not mine. My mother grabs June's arm, pulling her toward the door with theatrical outrage. This family will never forgive you for this, Jennie. Never. Grandma Ruth's voice rings out clear and cold. This family will be just fine without your manipulation, Patricia. I should have stopped you 30 years ago at Caroline's wedding. I won't make that mistake again. My mother freezes, her face going pale. The reference to Caroline hits its mark, the secret she thought was buried. She opens her mouth, closes it, then turns and storms out with June stumbling beside her in white silk and shattered expectations. Jake and Matt follow at a discreet distance. Through the window, I watch them cross the garden, watch my mother's rigid spine and June's dramatic sobbing, watch them disappear around the corner toward the parking lot. The silence they leave behind feels enormous, heavy with the weight of a boundary finally enforced. Ralph's arms wrap around me from behind. You did it. I lean into him, feeling Grandma Ruth's hand still steady on my shoulder, and let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. I did. Sarah steers me back to the bridal suite while Ralph handles the remaining logistics with Monica. Inside, my bridesmaids, Emma, Claire, and my college roommate Tessa wait with champagne flutes and expressions of fierce solidarity. Someone has already told them what happened. About damn time, Tessa says, handing me a glass. I've wanted to say something about June for years. Emma adjusts my veil with gentle hands while Claire touches up my makeup where tears have threatened to smudge it. Grandma Ruth settles into the settee, watching with approval as these women I've chosen as family circle around me with love that asks for nothing in return. 30 minutes, Sarah announces, checking her phone. The guests are seated. Your father. She hesitates. Left with Mom and June, I finish for her. The pain is there, but it's distant, like an old bruise instead of a fresh wound. I know. Then you'll walk with me, Grandma Ruth says simply. If you'll have me. I cross to her, kneeling beside the settee so we're eye level. I'd be honored. She cups my face in her weathered hands. You're braver than I ever was. Braver than Caroline. You're breaking something that needed to be broken. The next 30 minutes pass in a blur of final preparations. Sarah orchestrates the bridesmaids' lineup with military precision. Emma fixes a loose pearl on my dress. Claire ensures my train lies perfectly. Tessa makes us laugh with an absurd story about her own family drama, and somehow the laughter loosens the tightness in my chest. When Monica signals it's time, I take Grandma Ruth's arm. She's small beside me, barely reaching my shoulder even in her heels, but her presence feels immense. We pause at the ceremony entrance where Jake stands guard. He nods once, solemn and respectful. All clear. Just as it should be. The music swells. Sarah begins her walk down the aisle, then Emma, Claire, and Tessa in succession. Through the doorway, I can see the guests turning in their seats, the afternoon light streaming through tall windows, the floral arrangements exactly as I'd envisioned them. Some faces look confused, searching for my parents. Others seem to understand, nodding with quiet approval. Ready? Grandma Ruth squeezes my arm. Ready. We step into the aisle together. Every eye turns to us, and I see the whispers start, see relatives lean toward each other with questions. But I also see Ralph at the altar, his eyes locked on mine with such pure joy and pride that everything else fades to background noise. His best man, Marcus, grins widely beside him. The officiant, Pastor Davidson, offers a warm, knowing smile. The walk feels both eternal and instantaneous. Each step is a choice, a confirmation, a declaration that I'm claiming this moment for myself. Grandma Ruth's hand on my arm is steady, her pace measured and sure. We reach the altar and she kisses my cheek before placing my hand in Ralph's. "Take care of her," she says softly. "With everything I have," Ralph promises. Pastor Davidson begins without preamble, without acknowledging the absences or the drama that preceded this moment. His words focus only on what matters, two people choosing each other, building a life together, promising forever. When it's time for vows, Ralph takes both my hands in his. His voice is clear and strong, carrying to every corner of the room. "Jennie, I promise to always put us first, to protect what we're building, and to never ask you to make yourself smaller so others can feel bigger. I promise to be your partner in joy and your defender in battle. I promise to love you exactly as you are, and to celebrate every moment you choose yourself." Tears blur my vision, but these are clean tears, born from relief and love rather than pain. My own vows tumble out from somewhere deep and true. "Ralph, I promise to keep choosing us, even when it's hard. To build a life where love doesn't demand sacrifice of self. To trust that you see me, all of me, and that's enough. I promise to be as fierce in protecting our happiness as you are in protecting mine." Pastor Davidson pronounces us married with genuine warmth in his voice. Ralph's kiss is tender and triumphant, and the guests erupt in applause that feels like vindication. As we walk back down the aisle together, husband and wife, I catch Grandma Ruth's eye. She's dabbing at tears with a handkerchief, but her smile is radiant. Beside her, several aunts and uncles are also crying, but their expressions hold understanding rather than judgment. The weight I've carried for 28 years, the obligation to accommodate, to shrink, to share everything including my joy, finally lifts. In its place is something lighter, stronger, wholly mine. This is what freedom feels like. The reception hall glows with candlelight and the soft shimmer of champagne toasts. Our first dance ends to enthusiastic applause, and as Ralph spins me one final time, I catch sight of a figure standing near the entrance. My father, alone, his tie loosened and his expression haunted. Ralph follows my gaze and squeezes my hand. "Do you want me to?" "No. I'll talk to him." I cross the dance floor as the DJ transitions to dinner music. My father meets me halfway, stopping a respectful distance away as if unsure of his welcome. His eyes are red-rimmed, his usual composure cracked and crumbling. "Jennie." His voice breaks on my name. "I should have stopped this years ago. Your mother, June, I let it happen because it was easier than fighting. I watched you shrink yourself over and over, and I told myself it was keeping the peace." He swallows hard. "I was wrong. I'm so sorry." The apology lands differently than I expected. Not as vindication, but as grief for all the years he stood silent while I learned to disappear. "Thank you for saying that. I keep my voice even, honest. But Dad, I need you to know, things are different now. If you want to be part of my life going forward, it can't be as Mom's representative or June's advocate. It has to be as my father, choosing me without conditions." He nods, tears spilling down his weathered cheeks. "I understand. I'm here now. However you'll have me. Then stay. Have dinner with us." I gesture to a table near the back where Grandma Ruth sits. "Sit with Grandma. We'll talk more later." He clasps my hand briefly before moving away, and I return to Ralph's side as the best man prepares to give his toast. After Marcus finishes with humor and heart, the DJ hands me the microphone. I hadn't planned to speak, but the words rise up, demanding to be said. "Thank you all for being here today." I scan the room, seeing friends, Ralph's family, the relatives who stayed despite the drama. Today didn't go exactly as planned. Some people who were supposed to be here made choices that meant they couldn't be. But looking around this room, I see everyone who truly matters, the people who respect boundaries, who understand that love doesn't demand sacrifice of self, who celebrate our joy without trying to claim it as their own. I find Grandma Ruth's eyes across the room. Someone very wise told me today that I don't have to continue patterns that don't serve me. That saying no isn't cruelty, it's survival. So thank you to everyone who respects our day and our boundaries. This celebration belongs to those of you who understand what that means. The applause is thunderous. Ralph pulls me close, kissing my temple as I hand back the microphone. Sarah appears at my elbow an hour later, her face grim as she shows me her phone. June's latest Instagram post shows her on her couch at home, still in the white dress, mascara streaked down her face. The caption reads, "Kicked out of my own sister's wedding for wearing white." She couldn't stand sharing the spotlight for even one day. I guess blood doesn't mean anything when you're the golden child. The comments are mixed, some supportive of June, others questioning the story. My stomach twists despite the beautiful evening unfolding around me. Don't, Ralph warns, reading my expression. Don't let her poison this. But Sarah's eyes gleam with something fierce and calculating. Actually, I think it's time for some truth. She's already typing on her phone, uploading something. I've been documenting since the bridal suite. She turns her screen toward me. The post shows a photo carousel, June's white dress in the hallway. Screenshots of my mother's emails to vendors. The timeline of June's private Facebook posts about getting her moment. Text messages between my mother and June planning the co-celebration. The final image is the legal document Grandma Ruth showed me, proving the trust money they used as leverage. Sarah's caption is simple and devastating. Sometimes the truth needs no commentary. #know the facts, #boundaries matter. I watch the post go live, watch the likes and shares multiply within seconds. The comments flood in, but this time they tell a different story. This is manipulative behavior. The bride had every right to protect her day. June planned this for weeks. This wasn't innocent. Within 20 minutes, the narrative shifts entirely. June's post gets flooded with comments calling out her deception. Other posts emerge. Apparently, this isn't the first time June has pulled something like this, and former friends are sharing their own stories. It's going viral, Tessa reports, scrolling through her own feed. Like, actually viral. You're trending. Ralph wraps his arm around my waist. How do you feel about that? I watch the truth spread like wildfire across social media, watch the support pour in from strangers who understand boundary violations, who've lived their own versions of this family dynamic. It's not vindication I feel, it's relief. The gaslighting ends when the evidence speaks for itself. I feel free, I tell him honestly. Finally, completely free. 6 months later, everything has changed. But before I show you the life Jennie built for herself, if you love this story, subscribe for more real-life tales of people who chose themselves over toxic family dynamics. You won't regret it. 6 months later, I stand in the kitchen of our new home in Connecticut, basting a turkey that's almost too large for our oven. Ralph navigated us here 3 states away from the family drama, accepting a promotion we'd originally planned to defer. After the wedding, we accelerated the timeline. Distance, we discovered, is its own kind of freedom. My phone chimes with a video call notification. Dad's face appears on the screen, his home office visible behind him. These monthly calls have become our new normal, structured, boundaried, focused on us rather than the family chaos he's still navigating. The house looks great, sweetheart, he says, admiring the kitchen visible in the frame. Your mother sent a letter to your old address. I forwarded it. The envelope arrived 3 days ago, my mother's precise handwriting unmistakable. I'd opened it once, read the single page, then filed it away without response. You've embarrassed this family. When you're ready to apologize, we'll consider reconciliation. No acknowledgement of her conspiracy. No apology for the manipulation. Just the same demand that I make myself smaller, that I sacrifice my peace for theirs. I'm not responding, I tell Dad simply. He nods, unsurprised. I understand. For what it's worth, I told her the letter was a mistake. She didn't want to hear it. We talk for 20 minutes about his woodworking projects, my new job at a boutique consulting firm, Ralph's success with his team. When we end the call, it's with genuine warmth, but no pressure, no guilt, no requests that I fix what I didn't break. The doorbell rings as I'm setting out wine glasses. Grandma Ruth arrives first, having flown in yesterday to spend the long weekend. She's followed quickly by Sarah and her husband, then Tessa and her girlfriend, then Ralph's brothers with their families. Our small dining room fills with laughter and the comfortable chaos of people who choose to be together. Over dinner, the conversation flows easily. No one walks on eggshells. No one demands I account for absent family members. Jake's kids argued cheerfully over who gets the last dinner roll. Sarah's husband tells an embarrassing story about their honeymoon. Grandma Ruth holds court at the table's head, her wit as sharp as ever. After dessert, as Ralph and his brothers tackle the dishes with competitive efficiency, Grandma Ruth beckons me to the living room. She settles into the armchair by the window, the evening light casting soft shadows across her face. I have something for you. She pulls a small velvet box from her cardigan pocket. I've been waiting for the right moment. Inside is an antique locket, gold worn smooth with age, delicate filigree work framing a small sapphire. It's breathtakingly beautiful, the kind of heirloom that carries generations of stories. This belonged to my grandmother, Grandma Ruth says softly. Then my mother. Then me. I was supposed to give it to your mother, but I couldn't bring myself to hand her something so precious knowing she'd use it as leverage or currency. She places it in my palm, closing my fingers around the cool metal. It's yours now. Not to share. Not to be guilt into giving away. Yours. Tears blur my vision. Grandma. For generations of women in our family gave pieces of themselves away until there was nothing left, she continues, her voice thick with emotion. My grandmother to her domineering sisters. My mother to her demanding husband. Me to your grandfather and his expectations. Your mother to her own insecurities. She takes my free hand in both of hers. You're the first to say no. The first to choose yourself. I'm so proud of you. I open the locket with trembling fingers. Inside are 2 empty frames, waiting to be filled. Through the doorway, I can see Ralph laughing with his brothers, Sarah gesturing animatedly while Tessa's girlfriend records the moment on her phone. Chosen family, built on respect and genuine care rather than obligation and guilt. Protecting your joy isn't selfish, Grandma Ruth says, following my gaze. It's survival. And Jennie? You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. I look down at the locket, at the empty spaces waiting to hold the faces of the people I choose to carry with me. Not the people who demand access, but the ones who earn it through love that asks for nothing, but offers everything. Ralph appears in the doorway, 2 mugs of coffee in hand. He catches my expression, sees the locket, understands immediately. He crosses to us, settling on the arm of my chair, his warmth solid and sure beside me. Beautiful, he murmurs, looking at the heirloom. It is. I lean into him, feeling Grandma Ruth's approving smile, hearing the laughter of our chosen family echoing from the next room. Everything is. For the first time in my life, I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop, not bracing for someone to take what I've built, not preparing to make myself smaller. I'm simply here, in this moment, surrounded by people who celebrate my wholeness instead of demanding my diminishment. The locket rests warm against my palm. Tomorrow, I'll choose which photos to place inside. Tonight, I'm just grateful for the weight of it, proof that some things are meant to be kept, cherished, protected. Some things are mine alone. And that's exactly as it should be.